Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Book Club. Today is a very special day because this is the 9th of August and in Singapore it is National Day and this does not feel right. Now this does feel much better. So in today's video, we'll be talking about a book related to dogs. So dogs are cute, they're funny, they're playful, and they're your best companion. And not only will we be talking about dogs, we'll also be looking at Formula 1. I mean, who doesn't love Formula 1 cars? They're cool, stylish, and they race, which is the best part of Formula 1. And in today's book, we'll be talking about the famous Enzo. Not Enzo Ferrari, but a dog who is named Enzo, after Enzo Ferrari. So the book that I'll be talking about today is called Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein. So now, many of you watching this video would skip the video because there's countless of books. But the thing about this book that differentiates it from the rest is that this book talks about the perspective of the dog on his life and the owner's life, whereas there are countless of books who talk about the owner's perspective. So before you skip this video, if you haven't heard of this type of third perspective books, please continue watching the video. So the author for Racing in the Rain is Garth Stein. So Garth Stein is an American author and film producer from Seattle, Washington. His most recognizable books that he has ever written is Racing in the Rain, which I'm holding right now. And Garth Stein used to be a documentary filmmaker, teacher, and an amateur racer. And he probably got the idea to write this book based on his life as well, because he also had a dog accompanying him in his racing career for that short period of time. So now I'll be talking about the book. First, to establish this, we'll be talking about the main two characters, Danny and Enzo. So Danny was just an ordinary guy who loved racing last time. And he felt lonely, so he wanted to adopt a dog from a shelter or a farm. So when Danny went to a farm and he chose a dog, little did he realize that the dog he chose would show the world how to be human. So going on in the book, Danny works as a person who fixes cars, as a mechanic for a prestigious company who works for continental cars such as BMW and Mercedes-Benz. And going on further, he starts having a passion for racing and starts to pursue his career. Few months later, he met Evie in a mall, and then after a few days or so, he got married and had Zoe, who is Danny's daughter. So everything seemed happy for Danny and his family, but a sad day came. Enzo in the book talked about how he smelled something rotting inside Evie, and in the end it was brain cancer, and she only had a few months to live. And after that, the most saddest day of Danny's career came. Danny's wife, Evie, passed away. And something which is really disturbing in this book is that Maxwell, who is Evie's dad, wanted to take custody of Zoe because Danny did not have the financial ability to take care of Zoe at the time, which got Danny very angered. And so one day, when Danny heard the news, he almost went off feeling very angered. But when Maxwell tried to stop him, Danny pushed away and Maxwell fell on the floor and broke a rib. And this is when Maxwell took the opportunity to report an incident to the police. And one day, the police came and investigated the situation and arrested Danny. So Danny was furious and he was exhausted of money, but he had to give up his daughter. But he didn't want to, so he kept on trying. And one day, he got a invitation from Maranello Ferrari to test out one of their cars and be their drivers. But Danny declined. But he also promised that if he could, and if he got custody of Zoe back, he would accept the offer. So when Danny was frustrated with his life one day, he went jogging. And Enzo was old by that time, so he couldn't really keep up with Danny's pace. So when they were crossing the road, a turn of events came. Enzo got hit by a car, and Danny rushed him to the vet. And luckily for him, he survived, but had a problem in the near future of hip dysplasia, in which your hip is very weak and it deprives the person of mobility. 8 years later, Danny is now a successful Formula One driver for Ferrari and is living in Italy with his teenage daughter Zoe. And when Zoe brought a fan who was a boy over, and when the boy asked Danny for his signature, Danny agreed and later realized that the boy's name is Enzo, and told the boy and his father that the boy reminded him of an old friend, which was Enzo, his dog. So there are two main things I take away from this book. Firstly, when we look at how Enzo described from his perspective of how Danny's life was, it is different from how Danny thought of his life was. So this shows that for another person and another person, their perspectives can be different on a certain topic like life, or on how a person's life is. And the next thing I also take away from Danny is that we should never hold grudges against people. Like how even though Maxwell did something very bad to Danny and something very sacrilegious to Danny, which is disrespectful and hurtful, he never ever held a grudge against them. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope all of you watching the video could comment below on what you want to see new on the channel. And also, I'm very open to feedback, so I really appreciate it if you could give some feedback as well. If you enjoyed the video, please smash that like button and subscribe. Also, I really hope you could read the book and also watch the movie, and I'll leave all the links in the description below, because they are really entertaining and interesting. And I assure you, you will enjoy both the book and the movie. Signing off for now. See you next week.